My name's John, welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. It's a nice nightcap, I've got quite a bit going on, so it'll probably be another two-part one. On Friday I had a day off work, not to spend with the wife. I went away to a steam rally at Pickering with my friend Mick. Got a lot of video. We actually got a ride in an 8-wheel Sentinel steam wagon. I've already put a video up showing that. Well worth a look. I'll put a little bit of traction engines and station engines in these nightcaps, but I will be doing probably a series of 3 videos. It took that much film, though it was a lot to see. In the workshop, my dividing heads turned up. I do a little bit of work on that, getting that ready to use to cut gears with. Very pleased with it. A really nice piece of kit. I do a job for work. A drive shaft from a BMW. It's got some damaged threads on a CV joint. I repair that. A quick update on Debs. Debs is doing very well. She's improving all the time. She's very impatient. She wants to be back to the way she was, but it's going to take time. It was actually our 34th wedding anniversary on Saturday, which is yesterday. One or two lads have said, well, what did you get for your wedding anniversary? Well, I'll tell you what I got. I got my wife back, which is probably, you couldn't ask how much more than that, could you really? I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody who's helped her in any way, especially the doctors and nurses. The work you do is fantastic, it really is.
Not the sort of vehicle we're going to set off for London in. Don't mess with it, you know where all the rivers stop at. So, you can imagine it, there is a boiler.
For your entertainment here, to spin.
This is a rear drive shaft from a BMW. It's a job I've been doing at work. I've been replacing a wheel bearing. The problem you get, that the car's actually 15-year-old. The drive shaft actually fits into the splines there, and the C is in. The C's in really tight. You try a press first to press it out on the job. That does nothing. Then you use a copper drift on the end of there, and you hit it with a hammer, and that does nothing. There comes a point where you've actually got to hit it, really hit it hard with a proper hammer and knock it out, and inevitably you damage the threads on there, but at least you're going to get it apart and you're going to get a result. What I normally do, I would normally take this end off the shaft, put it in the lathe and rechase the threads. Unfortunately this type of end doesn't come off the shaft, it's put on and then it's crimped round the balls, so that part of the shaft you can't get them apart. So I'll have to do, I'll get a close up and show you how much damage I've actually done to the threads. Right, you can see there with hitting the end of the shaft, it's actually bent the end of the shaft over and squashed the threads flat. So the threads are damaged all the way down to there. So basically all I can do is grind off the damaged part of the thread and use a hand file chaser, a hand file thread, and try and reclaim the threads. I've got a nut to screw onto it. So we'll start off with just hand grind that down to clean threads, and then someone can pick the threads up. This is an 8-inch general purpose grinding wheel. I have got eye protection on. That's one thing I do use, it's eye protection. This is a file for cleaning threads up. It's quite an old idea, but it is quite a useful tool. I spent a bit more time with a thread file and a 3-cornered file chasing the threads back. A little bit of anchor lobe. This stuff works well as like an anti-scuff paste as well. We've got the nut so it's starting, it's going on straight. We have lost quite a bit of thread, but there's still enough thread so this nut can be torqued up and it'll do the job. It saves the customer the price of a new drive shaft, and also there's nothing available for it off the shelf because it is an old car. Right, so I'm quite happy with that. I've got a new nut at work, so probably end up using the new nut. But from what was quite extensive damage, just with a grind on a hand tool, it's cleaned up quite nicely. Yep, very happy with that. The next thing is to clean these splines up. The only way to do it, or the easiest way to do it, is a 3-cornered file and just go around each spline in turn, cleaning off any corrosion. It's tedious, but it's the only way to do it. And this was incredibly tight in the dry flange. Normally you can get them away with a puller or a copper drift and a hammer, but this one was just absolutely solid. We'll do exactly the same thing on the dry flange as well. We'll clean the splines out and that so they go together. If these were greased from the factory when they were put together, this would never happen. This is quite a handy file, like a very sharp knife edge on it. That's good for getting into the splines. See all the rust and muck coming out of them. Right, we'll file it until we're sick of filing it. And try it on. And that's nice. Just the way it should be. Oh, nut screws on, no problem. So I've actually saved a lot of money and a lot of time because the drive shaft isn't available. The flange will be a fortune. There's a little bit of damage on here to clean up where 1 or 2 blows I've missed with a hammer, but believe me, that was getting hammered. You see the machine face there where it goes up against the bearing, and that face there goes up against the other side of the bearing and pulls it all together. We'll put this in the lathe now, clean that face up and polish that so it's a nice fit through the bearings. There's a register there that the disc lines up on. This bit's just for the wheel, has a little lump on there. I just want to clean that up. Grip on the inside this time. What you can see when I'm holding the tape just between your finger and thumb on each hand, you don't wrap it around your hands. And if it happens, you just let go. One thing you don't do is squeeze it like that. That's nice. Cleaned up quite nicely.